Hey everybody, good morning. It is Wednesday and I'm somewhere different. I'm at the GAETC and I've mentioned it before, making a lot of fidgets and stuff. But starting today in Atlanta, they're doing the Georgia Education Technology Conference. And so they've invited me to be a part of the Creators Row. And so there I am, and here I am. And I just wanted to start off the entire thing with just giving a shout out, letting you know about it. If you want to look it up online, the hashtag is #GAETC, and I'll have more information, and I'm going to do interviews and all sorts of neat things today and tomorrow on Thursday. So be looking for that. Just wanted to give you a quick shout out before things got crazy, and hoping you're having a great day because I'm looking forward to this.
Hey everybody, we're here with STEM Education Works and Damiana, and they have 3D printers is what they do, and they're using a MakerBot. So I asked her if she wouldn't mind just telling us a little bit about how they use 3D printing to promote education and put all of this in the schools to help teachers teach. So Damiana.
Absolutely. So we do partner with MakerBot. This is the MakerBot Sprint. It's a really fast printer. It creates great prints. And what we've done is we've created curriculum as well as task cards so that teachers can just take that, implement it right to their classroom. There's no need for creating their own activities or anything. And then it's really focusing on creating and building 3D prints instead of just grabbing stuff and putting it on the printer to print. So they're really learning the fundamentals of how to create a 3D print.
Do you have what program are they using to create that here?
Yeah, so MakerBot uses Cura, but we have Tinkercad that people use as well. So just depending on what they're familiar with.
Okay, awesome. And so all of these have something to do with that as well? Do you create things for like your robots and different things?
Yeah, sometimes we'll create fun little activities to go along with some of the things. So we have like a pen holder, pencil holder. We'll create just little devices. We even had our table got broken, so we created a little piece to go on the end of the table, so now it lays flat.
That's great. So I love this. I love the fact that they're teaching teachers how to teach kids to do awesome things. And you know that's what we're all about here at in the lab. So I asked Damiana if she wouldn't mind saying this. You know what we're going to say, so let's say it together. Don't forget always, let's learn, create, and amaze.
We're still here at the GAETC, that's the Georgia Education Technology Conference in Atlanta. And as you can see, I've got a little table set up with some of the prints. There's the big rocket I made a couple of years ago, and I brought the A1 down just to kind of show what it can do. So there are so many people here. It's lunchtime. I have been talking to a lot of different people, and I'm just going to kind of pan around, show you a lot of the stuff that's going on here. All these vendors, they are just showing so much stuff. It's lunchtime, so people are coming in and out, and they're just doing a lot of business and just showing off a lot of technology.
Hey everybody, I am over here at the Georgia Student Technology Competition, trying to remember that, with Emily, and she's one of the people that handles a lot of the stuff to do with all of that. But what really interested me with them is they have competition in 3D modeling. So I'm going to ask Emily to tell you a little bit about how that goes.
Yeah, 3D modeling is one of the categories that students in grades 3 through 12 can compete in. There's a variety of different tools that they can use. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that's printed out. So obviously there's the part of 3D modeling where you design something in a software. We see a lot of students in elementary, middle school using TutorCAD.
Okay.
And so, they'll come with a printed out model, but, they could just demonstrate what they've designed for build within Tinkercad. Okay. We sometimes get projects, sometimes in Minecraft. So if they created some sort of 3D world. Some tools like CoSpaces, which I think is called DelightX now. Okay. That's more of the 3D modeling, virtual reality space. And so they're judged on, we really focus on the process over the product. So obviously we want their final product to be complete and fine-tuned, but we really encourage through the interview process with their judges to understand why they chose the tool to begin. What kind of skills did they already know how to use with that tool or software? And then what kind of things did they learn? We like for them to talk about their challenges and how they overcame that. Even for me, I think it's impressive that the student can say and reflect on, I didn't know how to use like the Align tool or something, but I watched the YouTube video and I learned how to do it. So we really look for those things where students try to push themselves a little bit farther versus, I just used a template because I thought it was cool, They take it a step further.
And that's the most fun part. We talked about that here on the channel in the lab, is learning those things and trying different programs. So you mentioned Tinkercad. Do they use any other advanced programs, Blender, Fusion, things like that?
Yeah, we see, it's really a spectrum.
And what are the age ranges that you typically judge?
Students in grades 3 through 12 and 8 and various grade bands. So 3rd and 4th grades keep together, 5th and 6th grade, 7th and 8th, and then 9th as well.
Okay. Well, we're going to call it there. I think it's been a lot of great information, and you can see how not only the student technology competition is using 3D modeling, which we know is a big part of 3D printing, but she's also using it in her school, and I think that's awesome. And that's one of the reasons I'm here today, is to hopefully see what all's going and maybe answer some questions if I can, and put that information out for you. Now, one of the things that we do on this channel is my tagline is learn, create, and amaze. And I always say that at the end. So would you help me say it, and we'll do that together? So don't forget, we always need to learn, create, and amaze. Hey everybody, I'm here with Central Technologies. This is Sarah, and they have the Robo 3D printer. Now this is something that's made specifically for schools and teachers and all of that. So I'm gonna let her tell you just a little bit about it and how y'all support the Robo in classrooms.
Yes, thank you. So the Robo E4 printer is by Bob & Lights. The neat thing about this is it's actually cloud-based, and you can plug the USB directly into it. So with the Robo E4, you have the option of My STEM Kits, which is full curriculum for this. So often we have teachers implement 3D printers and then say, I have no idea how to utilize that. So with My STEM Kits, they have lessons created for the teacher, as well as activities and ideas for your students to create. So if your students are already using a CAD design program, Tinkercad, something like that, they can then build upon it. So the idea behind Robo E4 really is it's plug and play. So in conjunction with your My STEM Kits curriculum, as a standalone, you're printing, you're creating, you're utilizing it. So you can link up through that. You can use the Robo Cloud to be able to push out, or again, you can plug in the USB. It's really nice because it just your build plate is magnetic, flexible, so your springs come off a little bit easier, and then you just pop it back in, close it up, and it works great. It also lifts at the top. They have a lot here as well. That's used to lift up directly on the top, close to be able to get some your filament.
Well, if people are interested, where can they find your company and the STEM Kits?
Yeah, so simply, our company is Central Technology, so www.centralinc.com, or if you go to boxlight.com and you go on to their website under a STEM such, it's there as well.
Okay, and I'll put those links in the description. Thank you so much to Sarah for walking us through the Robo. This is their new version, the E4, right?
Yep.
All right, and I've heard a lot about this, and I've been watching it and saw some printing yesterday and stuff. So check that out. And as always, we're going to sign off. Sarah's going to help me with this. So learn, create, amaze. So let's do this. Don't forget, always learn, create, and amaze.
Hey, well, the day is over, and I'm holding this in my hand because it's time to get out of here. But I want to tell you about this awesome session with this guy, Tony Vincent, learninginhand.com, and he helps teachers know how to use 3D printing and what all they can do with it. So check him out, learninginhand.com, and he does a great job.
We are here with the University of West Georgia at their exhibition table and everything. And this is Brian with the University of West Georgia. He is the director of the Innovations Lab. Now, the thing that interested me most was, one, the 3D printers that he told me that they have, and two, what they're doing with those. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Tell us what you do. Tell us about this 3D printer.
So at the Innovations Lab, we basically have all different types of technology for our pre-service educators, so our students who want to become teachers to come and check out and use. So we have iPads, laptops, that sort of thing. We also have 3D printers, virtual reality, robotics, that sort of thing. And so when we first started the lab, we were looking for a printer that we thought would be appropriate for, educators. What would be something they might be interested in and could use past that point. So what we actually found when we were actually here at the same conference was Jellybox. Okay, so Jellybox, really small company, but they actually have 3D printers that were designed to be put together and assembled by the students in the class. So they already come with certain parts that are already kind of done that are more complex, and all the tools that you need to actually take it from the box, flat packed, all the way into your full box 3D print.
That's very old school. Now, you said some of it's put together with zip ties?
Yeah. So that is part of it, because you got to think, when you put it together and take something apart, you're kind of doing wear and tear on screws, different joints. So I think the whole idea here was, because everything's zip tied, can get it together really easily. Plus, need a lot of tools.
So the intention is to take it different places and show how to do it.
Yes, we can take it apart, break it down, and put it back together over and over again. And you just basically take it apart by cutting your zip ties. They're really cheap. You just basically, once you're done, if you put it together, you want to take it back apart, cut, about 20 probably or so zip ties, and it's all taken apart again.
All right, so that's called Jellybox?
Yeah, Jellybox. And we have the Jellybox 2.0. There's a couple of different versions. I think there's some newer ones out. Okay. They have heated bed and unheated bed variations. And they have different kits that are more and less complex. Okay. I will say that. So
that's something I've never done, is put together a 3D printer. I've thought about it, but they've gotten to the point where they're almost plug and play, that point.
Right.
So, but you initially you were going to take those to schools.
Yes.
And so, but you're not doing that now, but you're still using those same 3D printers at the college, right?
Right.
Okay. So what are you using those for?
So we basically have them on pan so that anyone visiting the lab, we can kind of talk about how they could be used in a classroom. We of course show them things like Tinkercad, and Thingiverse, where you can get different resources to either just download something, edit something, or create something from scratch for anywhere from a kindergartner up to high school age.
Okay.
So we try to introduce them to some of those different resources that they can use. And then, of course, if they're interested in taking it all the way to design as create, then we print it out for them as well.
Okay.
That's why we have multiples, because we actually have a couple of different courses that do projects with
at the university. Okay.
Yeah.
And is that are those courses just individual? Is that focused on a specific track? What's the degree there?
So the ones that I've done the most with are two particular courses. One is just talking about different tools for educators. And so they actually have to design a 3D print that could be used in the classroom.
Okay.
So I had several where they were like dice with story prompts.
Oh.
So they would create their own story prompts on their dice, and then they could print it out. The kids could roll for a story prompt. Other ones where it was actually for a keyboard, and it had the prongs where it would press down on the keyboard certain chords.
Okay.
So you would actually have pre-made like chords based on that 3D.
Okay.
And so it pushed down on the chords. So, things along those lines.
So like musical keyboards. Okay. So it's like playing a regular keyboard, but a computer keyboard.
Well, yeah. So I'm trying to think how to describe it. I'm having to do it. I'm like, this is kind of a hard thing to describe. Sorry, but yeah, it's like, I guess, if you were going to press a C and an E and a, F sharp or whatever,
Right.
it would basically have the prongs on that print that
On a
you
piano.
push on a piano,
Gotcha.
a real piano, and it would play that chord.
That makes more sense than a computer.
Yeah, so that's where I was like,
Yeah, that was me. So it being a pianist as well. So yeah, I think I would have caught that. But
So, there are educational tools. Another course we do is our speech and pathology major. So they work with kids on speech, and he actually had them design and print a larynx to help them understand all the parts of the throat, output parts. So the students in the class actually had to go into either Tinkercad, or they actually use Blender to do it a little bit more complex, and actually had to design all the different parts and details of a larynx, and then they got to print it out when they were done.
I can imagine.
That was an involved project.
Yeah, I bet. And printing that was probably involved as
A
well.
lot of supports, a lot of small pieces, but we were able to get it done. Yeah.
All right. So again, this is Brian at the University of West Georgia. And where can they, if they want to find out more information about those programs?
Yeah. So if you basically go to the University of West Georgia's webpage, you can either search for Innovations Lab, so that'll link you to my lab and our mobile lab. Or you can, of course, search for me. I'm Brian Lane. Again, you can find me on that page as well. So,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's coming up now. I appreciate Brian doing all this. We always end up finish out with Learn, Create, Amaze. And he said he would help me with this. So let's see how this goes. Let's do it together. So everybody, don't forget, we always want to learn, create, and amaze.
And there you go. That's just some of what went on this past week at the GAETC, the Georgia Education and Technology Conference in Atlanta. And I had a lot of fun. I enjoyed talking to them and other people, as well as literally hundreds of teachers who would come by and ask questions. I'm going to be addressing some of those questions in upcoming videos, but it was things like, which 3D printer would be good for me to put in the classroom. A lot of people were asking for their homes with their kids, and how to use things like the slicer and all of those 3D prints I had showing. So I'm so grateful that I had a chance to be a part of Creators Row. There were a number of other creators. First time they've done this, so thank you to Dr. Lee Green and Holly Sisk and so many others that helped put all of this together and brought me in and just let me have a lot of fun and talk to people. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it and you can see where we're going in education, and it's a big part of what I believe in as well, especially in 3D printing, and that's why I end every episode the way I do. So once again, I'm going to ask them all to join me, and I'm going to remind you that we need to all just continue to learn, create, and amaze.